We're back. I'm Chaz Ellis, and this is the Pageantry of Life. And as I've said, I've built multiple businesses and spent nearly 3 decades in the pageant industry. And I've learned that real growth comes from facing life head on. I'm going to share some of my own experiences and some which could have been their own true crime series on podcasts. So we're going to forge this together and empower you to take a stance. Today, we're talking about toxicity. So you grab your cocktail, I got mine, and we're going down a little trail of dealing with toxic friends and toxic situations and how we are best able to navigate. So here goes. I've talked about making my way to Columbia, South Carolina. And at 19 years old, I'm a homosexual male, gay, queer, whatever y'all want to call me. I just don't like y'all using any other of them adjectives or verbs or whatever they call them. But I'm still kind of like in the closet, and I know y'all are all laughing and wondering. Nobody knew he was not, he was out the closet. But so I'm finding my way out on the town. So I hear of this bar in Columbia. It's no longer in business. It's called Fusion. And I'm like, I'm going to make my way to Fusion. And it's a Wednesday night. And, they say that Wednesday nights are big. And so I make my way to Fusion and I walk in and I'm kind of assessing the place. I was new chicken. I was fresh meat. They was all looking, talking, whispering, and I really didn't feel 100% confident. But I walked. As one of my friends now later says, you walked like a bitch. Like you just were mean. Like you just overly confident. And there was this young man that I will say kind of piqued my curiosity. I'm not saying like it was love. I'm not saying it was anything. It was just like, okay, you piqued my curiosity. Let's call him Justin, okay? So that's who this is, Justin. And Justin, kind of gave me a little eye, a little this. And the night progressed and we had a little bit of conversation and we did exchange phone numbers. So phone numbers lead to phone conversations, which lead to inviting me to parties and really, kind of showing me around the town, which led to him staying at my house. And, he was in a unique situation. He was probably about maybe 10 or 12 years older than me, had some experience. And I would say, became the best friends ever. Where one was, the other one was. If one got invited, the other one got invited. And, the first few years was solid. I mean, solid. Like you're like, this is my ride or die. This is my friend. Fast forward, I get my own place. I'm living single, downtown Columbia, right on Sumter Street. Got me a cute little apartment. I have done the decorating. I'm feeling myself. I've gone through hell. I've talked about that. And I'm excited about where I am, what I'm doing, and hopefully where I'm going. And the friendship evolved even more. As I said, it was never love. I think we loved each other. We liked each other, but it was never a relationship. And as what I would periodically say, oh, my friend from so-and-so, from Florence, or this person that I know from here is coming to visit. And I quickly, looking back, realized that there was not always this warm, welcoming feeling with my friend Justin. He participated, but if he didn't really care for them, Justin was very standoffish. But later may tell me, I don't really like them, or oh, I didn't enjoy their company, or are you sure that they're your friend or whatever? And I'm evolving in this community. I've told you some years have gone by, and I would make friends with someone. I'd invite them over, and maybe invite him over or Justin over, and it was I don't know. you know, it would create doubt in my mind because I think there was a codependency issue in our relationship. And that codependency was truly unhealthy. It was getting to an unhealthy point. And a conversation, you know, would happen, and I would it was feeling too much, and conversation happened, and out of nowhere we just kind of dissipated. Um, and I didn't understand. He just kind of went off, and I was, you know, I was like, just why would Justin do this? Why did Justin do that? Why, you know? But he's hanging out with this person now who he didn't like, and this person, and he said this about this person, and I was harboring that. And moving on with life, meeting new people. Oh, I was having fun. And a year and a half goes by, and I'm at a pool party, and Justin is there. And so I'm like, well, how's this going to go? Well, you know, these things can liquid courage, you know, standoffish. We kind of meet in a place and we start talking. And the conversation progresses, and in a few weeks, it was as if that year and a half had never happened. And it was, you know, oh, we're back, we're good, you know, we're talking. I was in Atlantic City for Miss America. His car broke down. He's like, hey, can I drive your car while you're gone? I'm like, sure. You know, I've got this going on at work, blah blah blah. I'm talking through this. Can I do this? And I'm like, sure. Next thing you know, he's living with me. He moved in. So I have a roommate. I've never had a roommate. Conversations happen, but what's interesting is I am inviting him to hang out with my friends that I made while we were, you know, estranged, we might call it. But I'm never invited to anything with his friends. And I start like thinking something's just not right here. And I have a conversation with my therapist, and I have a conversation with friends, other friends, and they're like, oh, well, that's just how Justin is. We're gonna press on a little bit, and I invite Justin and one of his friends to the beach with some of my friends. Who my friend had a condo at the beach, and we're gonna go out for New Year's. Well, unbeknownst to me, my friend and Justin's friend, you know, maybe called a New Year's kiss. Let's call it a New Year's kiss, and that did not fare well for Justin. Justin did not like that. Justin was not happy about that, and the whole time there took a spin. Came back, left for a week. You know, I don't hear from him. Comes back and says, I'm moving out. And nothing. Moves out, nothing. No conversation. But as I reflected, as I told you, I was upset, and I wondered why when we first had our little separation, call it. But this time I kind of analyzed the situation, and I thought, is it something I'm doing, or is there more to it? And I think that, of course, everybody has a guilty part in every situation, or they play a part in each situation. May be guilty, may not be guilty. And as I kind of reflect on it, I think to myself, these friends that he told me he didn't like are his friends. They're watching TV together. They're going out together. They're posting pictures together. You know, that was kind of the MySpace moving to the Facebook era. And I'm thinking to myself, that's just odd. But what I resolved it to being is that it was a friendship of convenience, maybe on his part. I would, you know, me being me, I would probably say it was him, and he probably would say it was me. But I identified that it was a lot of codependency. I identified that it was toxic. Our relationship past the first few years was not healthy for either one of us. And so I was almost like, hey, I'm glad this happened. And so we periodically see each other, and it's just, it may be hey, may not be hey. It may be wave, may no be no. But I realized, you know what? That just, that was a season of my life where, yes, maybe he was a friend. But when it got to be toxic, I should have identified that and taken myself out of it. Because my therapist said to me, if you can't sit alone in a room and be content, then you can't be present and your best self for those that you surround yourself with. So, that being said, I had gotten me a nice sofa from Verve. You know, I thought I was uptown, honey. I had paid the money to have me a Verve sofa. And I sat on that couch and I thought, do I like myself? Do I love myself? And the answer was no, because I had been being what everybody wanted me to be, and specifically Justin. I had given Justin kind of like a lot of power in my kingdom, in my safe space. And I quickly knew that I had to identify who were going to be friends and how they were going to be friends. I realized I had a lot of acquaintances, but did I really have a lot of friends? Because a friend is defined as some, in my mind, is their night or day. You rob the bank, they're going to help you, you know, hide the money. You kill the body, they're going to come help you move the body. You know, that's what I think. You know, that's a true friend. And it's always been said, you read philosophy, say, if you die and you have 5 true friends, you've accomplished something. And I knew that I could still have acquaintances that I respected and they respected me, but I could be cautious and cognizant, and I could lay boundaries in place that would allow me to be happy and content in my life. And I think that was part of the process of me growing and realizing that that was toxic. That was unhealthy. The I think I've mentioned it a few times, the codependency, the the constant stimulation of them being around is not healthy. And if I was resting on that to find my self-worth, and that is not where you find your self-worth, in someone else. You can't give the power for someone to manifest that much control in your life. So as time has gone by, I have seen where I have taken, I think some of my friends call it their truth circle, and some of my friends call it their tribe, and some people say this is my circle. And you have to really be confident about who you put in that circle. You know that in that circle, you know, are the people that you can give grace to when they are not at their best, because they're going to give you grace when you're not at your best. You are able to ignite a fire in them when they feel like the flame has gone out. And they are able to ignite a fire in you when you feel like your light is dim. But you also have to realize there are people outside of that circle, and that's where they belong. Y'all like each other. You can kiki with each other. You can have a cocktail with each other. You can have them over for events. But be careful of how much you share and how much you let them share, because when they share too much, then you become sometimes what the word in my mind is, you become a liability for them when you didn't want to. You were not accepting that liability, but you've become a liability because you've opened yourself too much. I think it's great and safe to have amazing relationships outside of that circle, but you have to be careful of how you foster them and make sure that the same investment that you're making is being made into you. With the understanding, I think, Oprah said it, or Michelle Obama said, In marriage, sometimes the man is given 70 and the woman's given 30. And sometimes there's 60-40. There's not most of the time, even in friendships, that you're going to see 50-50. But what you are going to see is a general respect. And my theory is you don't have to like me, but you are going to respect me. And I'm going to give you the same courtesy as well. And so I think it's important that people analyze, are you in a circle that is empowering you? Are you in a circle that's elevating you? Are you in a circle that is lifting you to new levels? Or are you around people that are not good for your psyche? But let's take a little deeper dive into if it is hindering your emotional, your physical, your mental, even your spiritual health. You need to analyze that. And I can tell you, if they're taking up more than one space of that and it's too taxing on your body, it might be too toxic for your your circle. And it's okay. You can love them from a distance. Hell, you can like them from a distance. That doesn't mean they have to be in your circle. You can send them a Christmas card. You can tell them happy birthday on the text, but that doesn't mean that they need to be in your circle or around your circle, because oftentimes around your circle can impede damage inside your circle. And so you have to identify and be comfortable with, hey, this is where I am. I pride myself on having a lot of friends. I really pride myself on having some incredible best friends. And I know that I have some incredible acquaintances. But when I began to put enough value on my life, and know that certain people's, their mental health, their spiritual health, and their emotional health were not my problem, or their physical health were not my problem, because they were not going to reciprocate. I have become I just feel better, and I don't feel like there's a weight on me, because when you are in a relationship, might it be friendship, a love life, and it is so taxing on you that you feel like it's constantly on your shoulders. It's like, boo, you got to get off. You got to get off. This is, this cross is too heavy to bear, and you are not Jesus Christ. You are not on your way. No, ma'am. So I think it's important that you just say, hey, you don't have to do it face to face. You need to take some time, some quiet time. When you are alone, sitting by yourself, is A, B, C, D, are they true friends? Is this worth what it's costing me? And it's not always what it's costing you in your pocketbook. It's not always what it's costing you, in time with them. It's what it's costing you mentally. Because if you are freaking exhausted afterwards, you got to spread out the time with them, but you probably are best to spread out your relationship with them and call them an acquaintance that you respect from afar. And that's what I've learned to do, is I'm not going to have people in my life like Justin again that are going to, I've set boundaries. I've set healthy boundaries because of constant, investing in myself with therapists, or investing with good friends, or good conversation. And I think that's where I'm at. And I think that's where people need to really analyze, does this person bring joy to my life? Is this person making the same deposits that I'm making in their life? And is this person as invested as I am? And if you find yourself saying no at any of those, it's time to evaluate. Heck, most of us have jobs, and we go through a yearly review, and you find out your boss says, boo, you going to get the bonus, or maybe next time. But just in friendships, it's okay to say that maybe next time is not working. I want to just touch on this when it comes to pageantry and my affiliation with pageantry is for an individual, for a contestant, for a mother, for an executive director, for whatever, when it comes to the world of pageantry, when we think pageantry, it's also important to know that sometimes that circle that I always say to Miss South Carolina, here's a circle and here are the players that are in the circle. So and so is here, and so and so is here, and so and so is here. They're not in the circle. They're friends, but they're not in the circle. But sometimes you find out is in that circle is somebody that's supposed to be on the outside too. And your best bet is to depend on the gut. I always say depend on the gut. Your heart can tell you things, your head can tell you things. But someone once told me, when your gut speaks to you, you listen. And it may be difficult. It doesn't have to be a harsh, you're out of my life, I don't like you, whatever. You play nice. They were in your sandbox. But either they can kindly realize that you want them out of your sandbox, or you just move your sandbox and go to another sandbox, and they'll realize that they're no longer in your circle. And I think the most important thing is to be prideful of yourself. Be prideful of what you have navigated, and don't let someone bully you or initiate themselves being in your circle because they think you need them. Because this is for the contestant's perspective, they need the people that are encouraging them, empowering them, elevating them. What I know the Miss America opportunity to do, but also other pageant systems. It's at the end of the day, it's about those young women leaving better than they came. And I empower from a different perspective the executive directors and the local people and the coaches. If you don't find yourself connecting with that person, don't create hostility. Kindly say, this isn't working. Because it is known that not every person is made to be in every circle. That's what makes the world go round, is we're all unique and we're able to choose where we want to land. And if someone doesn't like how you're doing it, don't always let them force change upon you unless you know that it is going to help you, empower you, elevate you. If they are just saying change because of A, B, and C, and it makes no sense to the trajectory of your life, goodbye. Or kindly say, I will dismiss myself. Take assessment of your surroundings. Take assessment of your family, your friends. To touch on a tinge of my first podcast episode, forgiveness. I forgive Justin. I don't hold any hostility towards Justin. It was a toxic relationship. And I told you I might very well have been toxic in that relationship as well. So I think that my why stop there is sometimes take an assessment of yourself, because you, in fact, could be toxic or putting toxicity out there. And that's not necessary either. So cheers to the pageantry of life.